Hello class and welcome to the Tempest in 10 by Nathan Nelm. Here's the table of contents. I'll be going through each act, and for each act I'll be going through the theme, a quote, and a real life connection from each. Act 1. In my eyes, the theme of Act 1 is new life. Act 1 Scene 1 starts off with the shipwreck from the Tempest, stranding the passengers which were on the ship to be left on this island with not much help. Some had people they liked to help them, while others had people they despised helping. No matter who you were with, you were all starting something new, something different. Everyone is away from home on a random island for God knows how long. This is an opportunity to start a new life and have new opportunities. This is a quote from Act 1, Scene 2 that I felt fit the theme of new life pretty well. It goes, "Wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort, the direful spectacle of the rack, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee. I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no not so much perdition as an hair bidded to any creature in the vessel, which thou heart'st cry, which thou sought'st sing. Sit down." Obviously, this is pretty hard to interpret, so I'm going to give the Shakespeare modern version of what it means, which is wipe your eyes. Take comfort as for the awful shipwreck, which tortured the goodness of your heart and moved you to such compassion. I controlled it so carefully with my magic that not one person was hurt. No, not a hair was lost from the head of any person on that ship, which you heard break apart and sink. The real life connection that I made to new life that I know that most people can relate to is finishing high school. Once you finish high school, you're basically starting a new life for yourself and your family. After high school, you only really have three choices. 1, university, 2, finding a job, or 3, doing neither of those and doing what's best for you. That includes like staying at home or helping your family by any needs. After high school, you really start a new life since everything before high school is basically given to you. Once you finish high school, you're an adult now and you have to do most of the things on your own. This is why I believe this is a perfect example for a real world connection to new life. Act 2. I believe that in Act 2, the theme is betrayal. Betrayal is seen through Antonio and Sebastian as those two men try and kill the King of Naples, Alonso, along with his counselor Gonzalo. Antonio and Sebastian have been plotting for a long time to kill these men and overthrow the throne. They have been pretending to be loyal and protect these men of high class just so that they can kill them and get the glory all for themselves. In the play, it is seen in Act 2, Scene 1, when all the men are in the forest and Ariel comes by. Ariel puts a spell on Alonso and Gonzalo, forcing them to sleep. In this time, Sebastian and Antonio spend time plotting on how they will carry out this plan of murdering the king and his counselors. This shows betrayal because obviously these men were really loyal to the king and the counselor, and the king and counselor both believed that they were loyal to them and protected them by all costs. When they fell asleep, they thought they were under great hands of Antonio and Sebastian, but obviously they were not. Here's a nice quote I found from Scene 1 of Act 2 that I thought fit the theme of betrayal pretty well. It goes, "Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall on Gonzalo." The modern day translation of that would be, "We'll both draw our swords. When I raise my sword, you do the same and bring it down to kill Gonzalo." This is a perfect example from the play to fit the theme of betrayal, because this is when Sebastian and Antonio try to kill Alonso and Gonzalo, showing betrayal. Real life connection. An example of betrayal in real world life is betraying a loved one, if it means cheating or hurting them. This is an example that many people don't really think about. When you are harming your significant other, you are really betraying them since you are supposed to be with them and loving them for life. That's why I believe this is a good choice for betrayal, modern day betrayal. Act 3. In Act 3, I found it hard to come up with a theme that covers all the scenes entirely. Instead, I came up with an overall theme and then mini themes for each scene. The overall theme of Act 3, to me, is illusion. In Act 3, Scene 1, we see two younger people, Miranda and Ferdinand, start to have an attraction for one another, later ending in love. They are both very expressive with how they feel with one another, and that's how we know that they love each other. That's why I believe that Act 3, Scene 1's theme is the illusion of love. In Scene 2, we see that Stefano, Tranquillo, and Caliban are all together walking in the forest. They're joined by Ariel, but none of them know that. Ariel is invisible and starts playing a tune on a small drum and flute, which shocks Stefano and Tranquillo, but Caliban stays calm. Caliban tells them the island is just full of noises, sounds, and sweet music. This leads me to believe the theme of Act 3, Scene 2 is the illusion of sound. In Scene 3 of Act 3, the men Antonio, Gonzalo, Sebastian, and Alonso are walking and see a table of food in the distance, which is exactly what they needed after all this time in the forest. After Alonso tries to eat from it, a lightning strike comes down and everything changes. They all see Ariel as a freaky, godlike character talking to them about their sins. Many more scary things pop up, scaring the men. Later, we find out it's all in the mind, giving Scene 3 the theme of physical illusion / seeing illusion. Here's my quote from Act 3, Scene 1. Obviously, it was pretty hard to find a quote since all of the scenes in Act 3 are a bit different, but this is what I picked. I just went with Scene 1. A, with a heart as willing as bondage of freedom, here's my hand. That's obviously not very easy to understand, so the modern day translation would be, yes, with a heart as eager to become a husband as any slave has ever wanted freedom, here's my hand. This is a perfect example of the illusion of love in Act 3, Scene 1. A real-life example of illusion would be photoshopping something to make it look better, like something on Instagram or social media, or using ads to falsely advertise something and making it look better than it is. Act 4. In Act 4, I thought the theme was love. In Act 4, it is shown that Prospero is ready to give up his daughter, Miranda, to Ferdinand. This shows that Prospero really knew that Ferdinand loved his daughter and was ready to give her up to him. In this act, we see Prospero get Ariel to round up all the characters to celebrate this marriage and have everyone see this amazing and loving couple. This shows true love and strength, not only from Ferdinand and Miranda for each other, but also from Prospero for being ready to give up his daughter to Ferdinand. Here's a good quote I found from Act 4, Scene 1. It goes, "I warrant you, sir, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver." The modern day translation of that would be, "I promise you, sir, the pure love I feel in my heart holds back the passion I feel elsewhere." This is what Ferdinand said to Prospero, and I think it's a perfect example of the theme of love in Act 4. An example of modern day love is marriage or a deep relationship between two people. Act 5. In Act 5, I believe that the theme is forgiveness. In this act, we see Prospero forgive those who have done wrong unto him and has Ariel release them all to their normal senses. Another example in Act 5 is Prospero releasing Ariel, which isn't fully forgiveness, but an example of kindness for finally letting him go after all these times and months of him serving. Here's the quote I found for Act 5, Scene 1. Here's how it goes. and mine shall. Hast thou, which art but ere a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind that relish all as sharply passion as they, be kindler moved that than thou art. Thou with their high wrongs I am stuck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves. This, obviously, again, very hard to understand, but in summary, it's basically Prospero telling Ariel how he forgives all who have done wrong to him, and that he forgives all of them, and that Ariel should round them up. A modern day example of forgiveness is someone like me forgiving my friend for something they had done.